Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sincere from the Standard 81 podcast, and I am back again. First, let me send out a quick apology to all those who watch or who watch back. I was supposed to do this on Friday and then again on Saturday, but I got caught up at work both times and I was very tired. So today I am doing that with a special Sunday edition. Um, and I've been looking forward to this one too. So, anyways, I'm gonna do like I always do. Let's take a 30-second break, get your mind right, and I'll be back. And I am back. We're gonna get into this one. And this one is called Men, It Is Your Fault. Men, it is your fault. And the reason I entitle it that is because specifically I want to talk to the guys tonight. I want to talk to the guys tonight. Well, this afternoon, not tonight, but this afternoon about the part that we play in this whole thing and why it's such a debacle and why there's such a fiasco out here when it comes to mating and dating. Uh, because we do play a role. The thing is, it's not quite what um social media and podcasts would have you think it is. Um, it's a lot, I wouldn't say a lot more in depth, but it's different than what we suppose. And we're going to explore that a little bit in this particular stream. So let's get into this. Here's what I have to say. In doing in today's modern culture, the part of making plans and moving things forward is on us as men. But here's the problem. Here's the problem I see. We have accepted a lot of stuff that we shouldn't. And this is why I say it's our fault. We have accepted ladies just being overly provocative, uh, overly domineering, uh, overly aggressive, and we have passed that off as chivalry and having respect towards women. Now, before I say what I gotta say, let me say this: there is a difference between having respect towards women and being overrun. There is a difference between having respect towards women and being overrun. And a lot of us won't even speak up for the fact that we feel overrun. Let me say that one more time. We won't even speak up for the fact that we are being overrun. Because here it is. We understand, I think the vast majority of men understand that when we get into a relationship with a woman, right? There are going to be complications. There are going to be things that we have to sort out. There are going to be things that we have to do in order to facilitate that relationship. There are particular responsibilities that we have to take in order to be in a relationship. I don't think there's any man out there, except for maybe these new school men, that think there is no responsibility involved in being in a relationship that is headed towards marriage with a woman. The problem is We have allowed the young ladies to think so high and think so over exaggerated that we can't even meet the demands anymore. Now provision is not just providing you with a home, transportation, and food. It's nails, hair, uh lavish cars, luxury lifestyles, trips, being a stay-at-home wife. Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. Very few ladies are going to get that. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but I am saying very few will get that. And at some point, there has to be a reasonable compromise. Now, slowly but surely, we starting to see men rise up and say no to this ridiculousness. This is where you get the passport bros movement from, save yourself black man movement from, and all these other red pill, MGTOW, and all these other movements from. But here's the problem. We have allowed it to slide for so long that now it's gotten out of hand. And it's our fault when we should have stood up for it in the first place and said, this is absolutely ridiculous. Let's take it back in a biblical perspective because you know I'm a Christian. And the thing for me is this: when you look at the purpose of why a woman was created, you don't see that of a stay at home anything. God placed Adam into the garden and had him doing tasks. And then while he had him doing those tasks, God said, it's not right for you to be alone. Pick yourself a helper. Adam then came back and said, God, I don't see anybody. And he said, cool, I'll make you one. Thus, woman was created. And she's supposed to come in and fill in the gaps to where we fall short. But somewhere along the line, we have this. We have men. We have decided that it's not enough that there are helpmates. We supposed to help them with. We not supposed. They're not supposed to help us at all. We just supposed to cater to everything that they want. When that is not what was supposed to happen. They were supposed to help us. We haven't taken up the responsibility to say, no, this is what it is. And we are no longer going to accept the fact that you don't like that. You got one or two choices. You either get in line with the program or you can be alone. We're starting to see it. We're starting to see it. But the thing is, it shouldn't have gotten this far. It shouldn't have gotten to this extreme. We have allowed people to over glamorize and overhype what a relationship is, what a marriage is, to the point now where the expectation is if you're not at this particular level at this particular time, then you don't deserve anything. When that is not the concept, it is supposed to be you two in a binding agreement with the Lord and been witnessed by other people saying, we vow to help one another through every season in our lives. Not when it's convenient, or not when it's good only, or not when we have everything. Because see, here it is. Have you ever heard New Edition? Can you stand around? Everybody can smile when there's sunshine out. Everybody is happy. Everybody gets along as long as things are good. But when things are bad, When things aren't perfect, can you stand the rain? And the answer for most of us is, even though that's a great song and we probably all love it, no. A matter of fact, I don't even want to feel a raindrop. 50 Cent asked 21 questions. The first two he came out with said, if he wasn't who he was, would you still be down? Now, mind you, let me say this. I'm not talking about Pookie and Ray Ray and the dudes that's sitting on your couch eating all your food and doing all that. But how come it is? Let me ask this question. How come it is you give you the best of yourself to those dudes, and then all of a sudden, after everything is gone, you got standards, and the standards are stupendously high. When men start to say, "No, I'm not going to accept that," then things change. We starting to see it. When they start saying, "No, no, 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 I'm not going to let you go through that 304 phase. I'm not going to accept that anymore." Then all of a sudden things change. When they start saying, "Look, when they stop just sleeping with women because they can't think with any other head," then things change. When we say we're dating with intentions and literally mean that junk, then things change. I like the way Kevin Samuels said this once. If you're wanting to be a single bachelor playboy, then you shouldn't be concerning yourself with a traditional woman. You shouldn't be concerning yourself with the attitude, her body count, whether or not she's submissive or anything like that. If your plan is not to get married, then stick with the modern times because that's exactly what you asked for. But you can't get upset when the women fall in line with exactly what you've been asking for. And then all of a sudden, now you don't like it. But that wasn't your intention in the first place. Man, we got to make up our minds. We either want to be out here playing with all these women and not helping them and not facilitating and not showing them the proper way that we expect women to be, or we just want playthings. Because that's the reality of it all. We're setting the standard. All the women are doing is falling in line with what we say the standard is. Think about some of the music out here. We said we wanted the big old butts and these girls and woo 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 woo, and we fell in love with a stripper and all this other stuff. So they say, yeah, that's what the guys want. They want strippers. They want the big booties. They want. Now when they complied with it, now all of a sudden I don't want that. I don't like that. I want somebody that's more conservative, more modest, more modest. So what is it you want, man? Do you want the stripper? Do you want the nasty girl? Do you want her to be sweet and innocent? Because you can't have it both ways. You can't sit there and say, I'm gonna sleep with the girls until I decide I want to get married, and then I'm gonna look up for all the innocent because it don't work like that. It don't work like that, man. Because most of y'all want to sleep with all the innocent ones. You corrupt them, give them kids, and then all of a sudden you walk away and you're like, oh, these women, these women, these women, these women, these women. And don't get me wrong, man. I get it. I get it. It's out of hand. But part of it is our fault. We've allowed it to go on. We've accepted it. And you know how you say we've accepted it? Our actions keep on saying it. We keep on liking every Instagram girl that got a BBL. We keep on sleeping with everything under the sun. We keep on trying to turn the baddies into housewives. And then we expect them to change? They just following what we have told them we like. I have to in this point, I have to agree with some of the ladies out here. Now we are beginning to tell them we don't like that. But if the evidence, if the vast majority of the evidence is showing something different, what do you think they're going to do? Especially when the men that they like the very stuff that we say we're against. There is nothing wrong, men, with wanting a beautiful, sexy woman. But when is it too much? There is nothing wrong with wanting your woman to be curvy. But when is it too much? There is nothing wrong with wanting a woman to know how to code switch at times. But when is it too much? You want to know why God punished Adam, spoke to Adam first? Because it was his responsibility to tell Eve no. But instead of telling Eve no, he let her slide because he was like, oh, it's my, I love her so much and I want her to have everything. Bro, say no. Just imagine what would have happened if Adam, who in the scripture says he was standing there with Eve, would have said, hey, look, you on your own. I'm not going to even engage with this. Do you think the Almighty Master who made Eve could not make another woman for Adam? But he got too caught up. He thought about a ton of things. And that's what I think in my mind. He thought about a ton of things. He thought about the sexual engagement he had with her. He thought about how she looked. He thought about how he made her feel. Him feel. He thought about all this stuff and said, I'm going to just go along with it because I don't want her to be upset. Not knowing he was the standard bearer. He was the one that was supposed to say the yays and the nays because God put him in place first. But he let go of his leadership position, yielded it over to the young woman, and allowed her to get him in trouble. It's his fault. That's why he got spoken to first. That's why he got punished first. That's why to this day we still have that curse over us where women will want to rule over her man. It's part of the curse. It's going to exist. And as this world gets more and more selfish and self-centered, it's going to get worse. 1 out of 4 women can expect to be married. So, ladies, go down the line of your friends. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you get to 4, she'll be married. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you get to 4, she'll be married. And that's not even saying how long it will last because the average marriage nowadays is only lasting 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years. Some marriages don't even last half a decade. That is crazy. But man, it's your fault. You're the standard bearer. When you see a woman that doesn't fall into what it is you're supposed to be doing, when she doesn't fall in alignment, don't be scared to say no just because you're going to be alone. I'm saying this as a single man who is out here and wants a wife, wants somebody to work and build with, who doesn't want to sit at the finish line and worry about what is she here for. Now, if it turns out that way, then cool. I'm perfectly fine with it because God will give me the discernment to figure out who's who. But I would rather have the person I pick now reap the rewards when the things happen. Tell me if you agree with me or not, because see, here's the whole thing. I think a lot of times we are so worried about as men meeting the expectations of a woman, meeting these criterias when we should be saying to ourselves, we are the standard bearers. And here's what it is. I haven't met a man who's really about his business, even if he's not completely at the finish line, really about his business, say to not have a plan of action in mind, that doesn't have a plan or some kind of idea of what he's going to do in mind. I have never, ever once in my life seen that. What I have seen is us trying to overexert ourselves and overdo and overcompensate when we should say, look, this is the plan. Dr. Miles Monroe said when he married his wife, when he was engaged, he said, baby, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And I promise you this, this, and this. Right. And he kept that promise, but it wasn't something she was asking for. He told her exactly what the plan was when he got engaged. Now, mind you, when he got engaged, he told her the plan and he went to work. You set the tone. Man, you set the tone. Remember, women are emotional creatures. And there's nothing wrong with that. Please, gentlemen, I want you to hear something. There is nothing wrong with a woman being an emotional creature. That's the way God made her. But emotions don't have sound logic. Your job is to come in and set the standard. Your job is to come in and present the plan. Her job is to say, okay, I'm with you. Let's see how we can work this together. This is why the young ladies are waiting at the finish line. Because they figure, hey, this guy already got the standards in place. The problem is they don't want to fall in line with the standards. Even when the guy is at the finish line, because we never told them they had to. And when I say that, I'm not talking about in this demanding fashion. I'm talking about an acceptance of action. Because we can still continue to sleep with them. We still continue to talk to them. We still continue to consort with them we still continue to chase after them instead of when she says, I don't want that, I'm not going to do that. Instead of just saying, okay, and going on about your business, we scared. Oh, I may not get another chance. I may not. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. There's somebody else. Move on. You only need to get it right once. Let me say that one more time. And I'm talking if you're into polygamy and all that other crazy stuff, then I'm not talking to you. I'm talking for monogamy. You only need to get it right once. One time. You only need to get it right once. And that one time should drive you for the rest of your life to continue to be better and better and better because she's got your back. You know she's there with you. Michelle Obama recently just went on a podcast where she was talking about her relationship between her and Barack, and she revealed a detail that I think is very setting to this. She said, I don't want our relationship to be marriage goals or couples goals because within our marriages is ups and downs and slips and falls and things that I don't particularly like, but I love and respect him. Does your man, let me ask you, does your woman respect you or does she just like the things you can get her? Because if she didn't respect you in the beginning, why were you with her? Because you could afford her and she's a baddie? Or because you feel like, man, this is the best I could ever get. I don't want to let that go. I made that mistake once. Almost cost me. Thank God I got out of it. If she don't respect you now, she ain't gonna respect you in the future. Because the kind of love she's looking to give is conditional. If she respects you, she's gonna love you irregardless. And if you love her, men, you will respect her irregardless. You see how the two play themselves? If you love her, you will respect her. But if she respects you, then she loves you. You can't be scared, guys, to have standards for yourself. You can't be scared to say no to stuff. You can't be scared to stop doing certain things because you have a scarcity mentality. This does not mean that after you get to the place you want to be, you just start running through women. You say, nah, I'm not going to continue to do this because I have a standard. And if that standard is not met, you don't fit the criteria. I'm going to move to the next candidate. I have a position to fill, and I'm looking for one particular candidate to fill that position. And after that position is filled, I'm not looking for anymore. You know what dates are starting to look like to me anymore? And I'm not saying I do them like this, but mentally in my mind, they're interviews. They're interviews. When I start talking to a young lady on the phone, or we start getting to that point where we're conversating and stuff like that, I'm asking the tough questions. What are you more concerned about? Lifestyle or living with somebody? Sit back and shut up. Let them answer. And then you can kind of set your standard from there. Go ahead. Let her think she won it. Go ahead. Let her think that she got it. When she says, oh, I don't think you the type, or you're a brokey, cool. Yeah, that's fine. Think whatever you want to think. I'm gonna keep it moving because I know where I am and what I have to offer. The same way they think it. and let's see who has the better outcome. Because I promise you, they looking for more of us than we are for them. Demographics say that. There are more ladies on this earth right now than there are men to go around. Then the ratios continue to drop the more specific they want to get with that particular man. So now they're looking. And I love what Kendra G said on her show. I love Kendra G's show. I watch it. She said, I'm gonna say this: it's not for everybody. Everybody ain't gonna get somebody. Everybody ain't gonna get somebody. It's gonna be good for those who do because they understand what it is and what it's not. They understand the concept of what marriage and relationships is supposed to be. And until we men begin to set that standard in its proper place and stick by it, we're not going to see change. We are the standard bearer. We are the ones that set the tone. We say what happens, we say what doesn't happen. I don't care what anybody says, down with the patriarchy, whatever. God created the man first. He put him in place first, which means we are the standard bearers. And what we have chosen to accept thus far has been detrimental, not only to the country, not only to our families. It's been detrimental in everyday life, and especially in dating and relationships. We let the standards go to pot, and now we wonder, why are things the way they are? Look at what's happening with these women, especially in the black culture. Look at what's happening to our women. Why are they thinking like this? Why is it so like this? My boy, you didn't set no standards. You let everything slide. You said, I needed satisfaction. I need this, I need that. Instead of just being like, look, this is what the standard is. Either you qualify or you don't. And letting it be at that. And now you got a bunch of men running around feeling bad and being upset and riled up until they finally figure out, I am the standard bearer. Irregardless of my social economic status. Mind you, I'm not saying bums out on the street. I'm not saying Pookie and Ray Ray. I'm talking about legitimate men, average men, guys that are working hard, that they're progressing and moving forward day by day, step by step. I am the standard bearer, and I want somebody who's going to fall in line with the standard. And I am willing, here's the oath you got to make to yourself and in front of God. I am willing to stay single until I find somebody that matches it. Women are saying it all the time. They're showing it to us through their actions. If we do the same, watch what happens. It's your fault. Man, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. She got that attitude. It's your fault she thinks like that. It's your fault that she's a single mother. Yeah, I said it. It's your fault she's a single mother because you didn't have enough discipline to put your thing away until you got married. Heck, you didn't even want to use protection. You just wanted to go in there and shoot the club up. And now you got 5 and 6 children everywhere, and you like, oh, I don't understand why she got me on child. She should put your behind on child support. If money's the only thing you losing, you got off scot-free. Out here married to 4 and 5 women. More putting more trauma on them for guys who are genuinely looking for wives, and you out here wanting virgins or purity. What in the hell? Nah, it's your fault. I get it. 100%. Guys, I get it. That the women are out of control and that they've done a lot of stuff that is not very pleasant. It's not very pleasing. But it's your fault. You accepted it. You entertained it. You let it slide. You kept letting it slide. I mean, my God, how many times do we have to go through that same thing? How many times do we have to look at it and say, man, you know, maybe I should do something different? And don't get me wrong, gentlemen. I know you're out here changing. I know you're out here getting better, but we got to stop accepting the stuff that we've accepted from women so long. We got to say, nah, this is it. This is it. Either you fall in line or you don't. And you can be one of the 3 that don't get married. You are one of the 3 that don't get a committed relationship. You are one of the 3 that don't have anybody. You are one of the 3 that will die alone. Raise the standard, guys. That's what we were put here for. Have dominion over the earth and subdue it. God gave us women to help us fulfill that task. How come it is that we as men are falling subservient to our helpers? That's crazy to me. That is absolutely nuts. This, once again, I will say, this doesn't mean you're disrespectful. This doesn't mean you call them out of their name. This doesn't mean that everything you tell her to do, she does. But this does mean she has respect for you. This does mean that you got the plan, and if she don't want to fall in line with that plan, she can hit the road. This does mean that you have discipline, internal discipline, sexual discipline, financial discipline. This is discipline and structure is not about how much money you make. It can be a strong indicator that you have those because it takes discipline and structure in order to obtain a high amount of money, but that's not the only indicator. Man, it's your fault. You've accepted too much. You have told yourself that if I do this and I do this, maybe they will accept. Nah, enough of that. You've been looking for acceptance for far too long in far too many places and haven't got anywhere for it. Time for us to take our positions. The lady's been screaming for it. They want it. Well, let's show them what it is. Let's show them real men. In the army, you don't have a bunch of generals, you don't have a bunch of majors. You have commanders and you have soldiers, and each one has a role to play. And if the person you get in a relationship with ain't willing to play their role, then they don't deserve to be in your army. They don't deserve to be a part of your company. They don't deserve to be a part of your business. If she ain't willing to play the role, she ain't deserving. And that's all I'm going to say because I feel like I've said enough. Guys, go ahead and hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And do me a favor, leave a comment down below. And if you're watching this after the taping, type in second watch in the comments. Check out my Instagram at Sincere the Artist. Also, check out my TikTok over there at the Standard 81 Podcast. I got a ton of stuff there. Doing pretty well over there, I think. But that's going to be it. This is a special Sunday edition because once again, I apologize. I am making up for Friday's stream, which I did not do. But I hope you enjoyed it. Men, remember, we're the standard bearers. It's your fault if she doesn't fall in line. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you again tomorrow for Memoir Mondays. And we'll do another one. All right. Peace.